right, so get this. You ready for this? We're diving deep today into something pretty wild. A presidential campaign, over $1 billion raised, ends up millions of dollars in debt.
You're kidding? $1 billion.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. We're talking Kamala Harris's 2024 run
Wow.
ended $20 million in the hole. We've got some articles here, some political commentary from places like Christian Post, the Washington Digest, trying to figure this whole thing out. Like, how does this happen? And, what does this mean for the Dems going forward?
Yeah, $1 billion. That's unheard of, right? You'd think that'd be a surefire win.
Right. Like, you'd think money guarantees you something, but I guess not.
No, I guess not.
I mean, we're talking Katy Perry, Lizzo at rallies,
Oh, yeah.
Eminem, Bruce Springsteen,
Wow.
like the biggest names. You'd think that translates into votes, right?
Yeah, you would think, right?
I mean, that's got to get people excited, right?
Well, it definitely grabbed headlines.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But did it actually, get people to the polls?
Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? And that's something that, these articles are really digging into. Like, okay, yeah, you got all these celebrities, these big, flashy events.
Yeah.
But how much did that actually cost? The Christian Post, they were saying these events might have been a major drain financially. I mean, think about it. Renting out these huge venues, flying in all these performers, the staff, the logistics, it all adds up,
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. But it can't just be the concerts, right? Like, there's got to be more to it than just, big parties.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
There's way more to unpack here. One of the big things that keeps coming up, the campaign manager, Jen O'Malley Dillon. Ring a bell.
Oh, yeah. She ran Biden's campaign. Right?
Yep, the 2021. And she was, considered a bit of a genius after that, right?
Right.
But here, her style, well, let's just say it's causing some friction. Some people are saying her approach, it was very top-down,
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of maybe stifled Harris. Like maybe she couldn't really be herself, connect with voters in her own way.
But if she was so successful with Biden, why would it be a problem now?
Well, every candidate is different, right? What works for one person might not work for another. It's like, a pair of shoes. Just because they fit me doesn't mean they'll fit you. And the Washington Digest, they suggested that maybe Dillon's strategy was too much about copying what worked for Biden instead of, letting Harris shine, show off what makes her unique, her own policies,
Yeah. So almost like she was forced into a mold that didn't quite fit. Right?
Exactly. And that raises a really interesting question for everyone listening, right? Like, can a candidate really blaze their own trail if their campaign feels like someone else's? What do you think?
It's a good question. It's like, are you really voting for that person or are you voting for the person they're trying to imitate?
Exactly. And then there's another side to this whole debt thing. It's not just about the numbers, right? We're talking about real people, vendors who weren't paid, campaign staff, people who poured their time, energy, their heart and soul into this whole thing.
Ugh, yeah. I mean, that's got to be tough, right?
Yeah.
You're working all these crazy hours and then, you don't even get paid. Talk about demoralizing.
Exactly. And this is where it really shows you how, financial mismanagement, it doesn't just impact the top, it trickles down, The Washington Digest, they even mentioned the campaign ended up having to liquidate their email lists.
Their email lists?
Yeah,
Right.
selling off access to their supporters' inboxes.
Oh, no way. Seriously?
Yeah, they were that desperate, apparently.
Whoa, that's actually happened to me,
Yeah.
Donated to a candidate, then all of a sudden I'm getting all these spam emails for the weirdest stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. And
Yeah.
it really makes you think, is that ethical? And it shows just how bad the money situation must have been.
Right, right. And, the Republicans, they're probably having a field day with this, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Trump, Maggie Inc., this is prime ammunition for them. Paint the Democrats as incompetent, irresponsible.
Yeah, yeah.
But, putting the political back and forth aside, this whole thing has really gotten the Democrats talking, rethinking their whole approach to campaign finance.
Yeah. So, are we talking about a move away from big donors and those, celebrity endorsements?
Exactly. There's this growing push to go back to the grassroots, building up a base of smaller donors, people who are genuinely on board with the candidate's message.
It's almost like we've gotten so caught up in the glitz and glam and the celebrity factor that we've forgotten about the everyday voter,
Yeah, that's a really big takeaway here.
It's kind of sad in a way.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, there's the big question of what this all means for Kamala Harris, Can she bounce back from this?
Right. It's a tough road ahead, for sure.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
That's one way to put it.
But, I think this deep dive has been really eye-opening.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's crazy to think, even with all that money, you can still end up in debt. And it really highlights the importance of strategy,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
and how even small choices can have a big impact, not just on the campaign, but on everyone involved, from the staff all the way to the voters. Definitely. And for me, the biggest question this raises is like, how can campaigns today, in this crazy media landscape, find that balance, between being responsible with money, having a genuine message, and yeah, I mean, you can't deny it, that star power.
It's a tough one. A real head scratcher.
Yeah.
And I think as we get closer to the next election, we're going to see a lot of campaigns wrestling with these same questions. But I'm curious, what do you think? Can you really have authenticity, a real grassroots connection, and still compete with all that, celebrity sparkle?
It's a good question. I'm not sure I have the answer.
I don't know either, but it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It definitely will. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. But we want to hear your thoughts. Hit us up on social media and let us know what you think.
Yeah, join the conversation.
Until next time.
See you then.